Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be talking to you about Dynamics 365 and their customer service module. So we're going to be looking at what we can do inside the customer service module inside Dynamics 365. We'll be looking at all the features and functionality, and then we'll also be looking at some new features and functionality that have just come out in the last month or two around the ability to do some chatting and things. So let's jump right into this webinar today. So my name is Tom Lemeron. I'm a pre-sales consultant here at Ledgeview Partners. Today, what we're going to be doing is, first we're just going to be talking about customer service a little bit. Then we'll look at some of the do a high-level overview of the features and functionality. Then what I like to do, if you've been on any of my other webinars before, is I really like to be in the tool and diving into the tool and showing you the actual capabilities of what's inside of the customer service module inside of Dynamics 365. All right, so let's jump right into this. So right now, what I want to say is that, before, and I've been guilty of this before too, is that, we always say, hey, bring Dynamics 365 into your organization as a sales tool, and then you have all these other tools that you can add on after that. Well, now, customer service is truly a standalone module that you can bring in Dynamics 365 into your, into your company or organization and just use that module. It is a standalone module. It's something that's on the roadmap now, and in fact, with the latest release coming out, there's going to be more enhancements to the customer service module. So it is a standalone module. If you look at this, what this graphic shows you is that, within Dynamics 365, customer service truly is a standalone and growing and living and breathing module. All right, so what is customer service? So of course, like most of you, when I have a question, I go and I ask Google. Or, for you Microsoft people out there, you can go ask Bing. But what do you see out there? So there's multiple different areas. If I just grab some of the things just on the first page of my search results, I get all different types of definitions. So I'm not going to read each one of these, of course, but if you just look at what they're saying is that, assistance, being able to, provide exceptional customer service, to be able to have an activity or to measure it or have a philosophy around it. And again, there's multiple different channels. So, there's lots of different definitions on what customer service can provide. But if we look at a visual on what is there, is that it's all around all these different channels, all these different areas that people can talk into you, and then you as a company or you as an agent has to react. So this is a nice graphic that we have found that, goes around all the different channels that you can, be talking to and trying to provide customer service, to your customers or to potential customers, to prospects, or just to anyone that's around, just trying to get some more information around your brand. So, we always talked about phone and email. Those are probably the archaic methods of always doing customer service. Now, again, those are critical pieces of customer service, but there's so many more channels now that come out there. So we have chat, we have social, we have web, messaging, group communities or chat boards or Discuss, being able to share your screens, being able to do video chats, being able, Internet of Things, lots of different things that can be, how you can get information back into your organization around, what is the satisfaction? What are people thinking? What are people asking about? How are they reacting to what you're releasing? How are they reacting to your services? How are they reacting to your products? So lots and lots of different avenues to come into it. So where does Dynamics 365 sit in all this? Of course, there's tons and tons of capabilities and tools that are inside of Dynamics 365, and these are the ones that we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to be looking at the case management capabilities, the knowledge management, the business process flow, the voice of the customer, the intelligence, so the reporting capabilities that are in here. We'll look at mobile. We'll also look at interactive chat. So the two that we are looking today are social engagement and then also field service. So social engagement has its own capability. It has its own tool. It does come with the Dynamics 365 license. So if that's something that you're interested in taking a look at, and this is more around kind of that social listening, social reacting, do I have a positive vibe or a negative vibe within the social media? Can I should I be reacting to those negative vibes? Should I be responding to those? Should I be creating cases that we can be responding to those items and reacting to them appropriately? So that's all in that kind of that social engagement realm. If you want to see that, let us know and we can give you a demonstration on what that looks like. But today we won't be focusing on that area. The other one is field service. Field service is, of course, a separate module inside of Dynamics 365, and I'm going to say field service is its own animal. So again, we can give you a demonstration on field service. If you're interested in that, please just reach out to us and we're more than happy to show you that. But that's kind of where the Internet of Things can go into the field service. But then also it's around the dispatching and having all of your techs that are in the field and being able to schedule them appropriately and send all the information. And then from a mobile device, they can interact with the work orders and then track their time and what they need to do, what their activities are, what the skill sets are. So that's, again, it's a whole separate module inside of Dynamics 365. We will not be covering that today. But the items we are covering today, what I do want to show you is that all these that are circled right here all come with the Dynamics 365 license. The customer service license inside of Dynamics 365. So the only one that we are seeing today that's not included in the license is the interactive chat. So this is something that you might have seen in the past 6 months. There's been some, lots of blogs and lots of news articles that Microsoft has partnered with a company called CafeX. And they have a product called Live Assist that sits inside of Dynamics 365. We will be demoing that today. I'll be showing you, some of the capabilities around that. But then again, if you have more questions around that, please reach out to us and we can talk further about what that partnership and what that integration, means. All right, so let's jump right into the product demo now. So I'm going to switch over to here and get into the product demo. So of course you have your dashboard capabilities. So within the dashboards, again, anything that you put data into Dynamics 365, you can get out in dashboards. So I can have dashboards in here that are, out of the box dashboards. So if you notice this right here, this is just a very simple example of, who are the different cases and what are the priorities that my reps are working with, what type of cases are coming in, are they problems, are they questions, are they requests, so it's just really easy to break in to see, what type of cases are coming in. And then, if I have different, incident types, or if I have different ways that I'm trying to categorize what type of cases are coming in, again, I can see right here very simply, I can see, okay, a lot of my issues are around maintenance, some around products. So I can just see very quickly, what it looks like. So again, if you are familiar with Dynamics 365, this is the standard, dashboarding capabilities. And I can have multiple different dashboards in here. So if you notice, there's about 5 or 6 that come out of the box for customer service. And of course, I can create any of my own. I can create either system dashboards or I can create my own dashboards. Now, along with that, we also have a presentation out there around creating dashboards within Power BI. And so, of course, you can create service dashboards within Power BI. And notice how there's a little different icon down here. I can have Power BI dashboards being surfaced inside of my Dynamics 365 environment also. So if I want to do stuff around customer service or my case management through Power BI, I can absolutely do that and then have those surfaced inside of my Dynamics 365 environment. So let's jump into, how we actually make all this, how do we enter in all this data that comes into here that we can now report on? So the main entity that's inside of Dynamics 365 for service is called cases. So if I look at what's inside the service area, I'm going to go into the cases. And now here are my active cases. And again, if you're familiar with Dynamics 365, these are list views. And so I can have different lists that come into here, and notice that there's lots and lots of different lists. And again, if you're not familiar with what a list is, it's pretty much just a filter along with the columns that are associated with that filter. So if I look at this, this is my active cases. That means that when I'm looking at this list right here, these are all the cases that I am working on because they have been assigned to me as the owner of that case. So these are just the filters or the different areas I can look at my different cases. Just quickly, I can see by icon, what is the source or what is the channel that they're coming from. Again, priority, origin. So the origin meets the icon. And then, who's the customer that this is for. And then, of course, created on and the status. So a pretty simple view that we have here. Let's jump right into what the case form looks like. And let's look at some of the tools that you have provided for you inside of the, inside the case. So here is a case form, and again, if you use the Dynamics 365, this is just a standard form. The first thing that you'll see is that on top here is that we have the business process flow. So business process flows can be integrated or can be utilized anywhere inside of Dynamics 365. Lots of times we see it on the sales side for doing, like, say, lead to opportunity management or doing the sales process management, but we also see a use here on the case management. So if you notice, we can have different processes or we can have different stages that, let's say, you go through to try to create or manage a case. And so through here, you can see now with the newer version of Dynamics 365, they actually have a timer on, how long it's been in the different stages. And then you have an overall timer on how long it's been taking to do the whole case. So this is something that I'm going to say that we're seeing about 40% of our, our customer service users utilize this. You do not have to utilize this feature. You can turn it on or off at any time, but it is one of those areas that we want to show you that you can put a process around your case management if there's specific areas or specific steps that you want your team to go through as they're managing their cases. So I'm just going to minimize this a little bit so I can see a little bit more on here. So again, this is standard form where I can enter in, I can enter in my information over here on the left-hand side. In the middle, I have my social pane. And then on the right-hand side is where I have some additional information, maybe related records, some different items related to this case. So as you're looking here, just putting in a case numbers automatically gets generated on here. I can have some lookup values to some different areas. I have this entitlement. So they have entitlement and SLAs in here. And SLA is a service level agreement. And so in here is that, let's just say you have different levels of support, or you have different areas, let's say gold, silver, and bronze level of support. And, within your gold level of support, you have to respond within 4 hours, and maybe the silver within 24, and bronze maybe 48. So you can have different service level agreements that are associated to those different entitlements, and you can have entitlements that are linked directly to, let's say, a product, or how many cases they can enter, or how long the entitlement is for, or maybe certain people that can only call in to create a case, or maybe even the channel that they come in. Maybe it's unlimited use of email, but they can only make, let's say, 10 phone calls directly into you per period. So again, the entitlement really controls what is their kind of like a contract, or what is their support agreement with you. And then the service level agreement is, notice over here, here's a very simple SLA. So we're just saying that we need to respond within 3 days of when we need to respond back by. And so if you notice right here that we have 1 day, 14 hours left before we have to respond to this case. So what you can do with the SLAs, the reason why SLAs are powerful, more than just this timer right here, we can have action behind there. So notice you can have so right now we're in the warning stage. That's why this little, this little exclamation points here, it's yellow. If it's in just kind of in black, the timer, then you're not in any, you're doing well with it. You haven't met any of the warning or failure stages yet. So when you get into warning or failure stage, you can actually have actions on there. Think of workflows behind the scenes that can send an email maybe to the management team to say, hey, this case has just been seen out there. Please take a look at it. Maybe it gets escalated and routed to an escalation queue that people monitor, or maybe it just gets changed ownership to somebody else on your team. So there's action items that you can do above and beyond this timer. There's actually action items if certain criteria is met. Another nice area in here is within this within this social pane. So of course you can track all of your activities. This is one of the default areas that you can see inside of here, that you can, track your activities, seeing what you're being done, emails that are being sent, phone calls. I can quickly create a phone call if I need to through here. So again, standard Dynamics 365 capabilities that you have inside of the case. But the nice thing is that here is the KB article area. So within the KB article, and notice this right here, this relationship assistant, this is one of the new features that is in Dynamics 365. It's actually in the preview mode right now. We have another webinar that you can look on our website that actually talks about some of the new features and functionality of Dynamics 365. We cover what that is. So it's just helping us say that, hey, there's been no activity on this case for a while. So more than just the SLA, it's just telling us that, hey, we should be looking at this case because we haven't touched it for a while. This again is in preview mode. So it's something that which means that it's kind of in beta testing right now. You can turn it on. They don't recommend that you turn it on yet in your production environment, but definitely you can turn it on in your sandboxes or development environments and just kind of play with it and test it out. But we're hoping that this comes out of preview mode soon because we feel this is a really nice new feature that's coming with Dynamics 365. But if we jump down here into the knowledge base articles, if you look at what's in here, it's automatically taking this case title and it's setting it into the search by default. If you notice, you look at what's coming up with the different articles that are on here, you can see how many articles have been viewed. Through here, I can link this directly to this article, or sorry, to this case. I can send an email right from here. So if I select this icon right here, it actually creates an email record that now I can send it directly through here. And notice how, on this, it has images that I can have on here. It has text. I can embed, YouTube or different videos that I want them to look at. And so right from the case, I can very easily send an email out to, again, who this case is for. Otherwise, if I come back into here, I can, if I'm looking at these KB articles, I can break out the articles if I want to. So if I just want to pop it out so I can see what the article is, but still look at the case, I have that capability. But now if you notice that the KB articles, if you knew customer service before, these newer releases, the KB articles were text only, and they were kind of question and answer formats, and they weren't very dynamic. Now, the customer service module has KB articles that are very dynamic. You can put HTML in there. You can modify HTML. You can copy and paste items into there. You can link it to videos and different things. And they're going to keep enhancing these capabilities within the customer service. So that knowledge base is going to keep growing and enhancing. It can be shown or can be displayed on any external website. And so there is that capability to automatically display your knowledge base articles on your website also. So the last thing that I just want to talk through just very quickly is there's some other, capabilities within here is that if you notice over here, we have Northwind Traders is the name of the customer. And so now we're bringing up some customer details. So here's, the primary contact. Here's their phone number. Here's some recent cases that are specifically for Northwind Traders. So again, I can bring up related records and related information really quickly, based on the information that I fill in here from, on this side. Also, if you notice, there's some capabilities up here. There's save and route. So I can easily have some routing rules that when I click save and route, I can select what routing rule to do it. Otherwise, I can have automated routing rules that are set behind the scenes. So let's say I change this, priority from normal to maybe critical. As soon as I do that, I can have a routing rule that's automatically triggered that can route this or send it to different areas, or, same thing with workflows. So I can have that capability to automatically route my cases based on, different criteria that's set up in here. Also notice I have a create child case. So this create child case really allows me to manage, let's say I have multiple issues coming in for the same issue. I want to manage one case, but then have all these child cases or children cases that are related to that parent case so that I can manage one case, and once I resolve it or once I complete it, it can go back and apply that to all the other cases. So I'm still tracking all the other cases, but I'm only really managing one case. So all those are configured and you can set all that that stuff up, from SLAs to entitlements to routes to the child case rules. All that can be set up in the customer service management area within the settings side. So once I'm working these cases, you know what? I'd like to know how I am doing. So that is where they have a tool inside of Dynamics 365 called Voice of the Customer. So that is their survey capability. So if I want to see how I'm doing, you know, actually when a case is completed or resolved, I can send out a survey, or, you know, I can use the surveys on any entity inside of Dynamics, but, you know, cases are really the ones that they're really associated with most of the time. But if you notice here, I can see up here that when I go to activities, I've actually sent some feedback. So I actually sent some surveys out already around this. And so let's just take a look at what the survey entity looks like. So here is a survey. This is just a simple customer service survey that I created, and notice this is the actual editor. So it's pretty much just drag and drop. Here's all my different survey questions, types of questions that I can add onto my survey. And then here, you know, here's how my survey looks. And again, I'm just trying to show you examples of how this, what type of fields can be on the survey. So we can have, you know, just a text. We can have a date selector. We can have, you know, what is my rating? We can have a ranking. How can I rank what the communication offers are? You know, again, kind of the sliding of the different scales. I can have, you know, different satisfaction, kind of selecting what is my satisfaction level. I can also download from this. I can actually put, you know, allow people to download maybe files or pictures or different things from the, you know, that I want to collect on this survey, so I can actually download files. And then through here, of course, you want the analytics. So there's actually a dashboard built right onto the survey form. And now there's not much information that's on here because I've only set a couple of surveys. But again, I can do some survey counts. I can see what their responses are. I can see what the summary information is around, you know, what the survey was sent out about. So, you know, I can get some analytics about this survey. But more importantly, I can go back to my case, and I can look directly at the survey responses for this case, and I can see what the responses are. So if I open up this customer survey response here, this is actually going to show me, you know, what all the responses were, you know, what were they looking at, how did they respond to the different information. I can put scoring on here, so I can configure how this can be scored and everything, so I can do some some reporting or analytics around that. So this really allows you to really kind of understand your customer service, you know, kind of your customer service level or your satisfaction, your CSAT scores and things like that, that you can, you know, you can calculate and you can do through this voice of the customer area. So that's all around cases. So what we showed you so far was, you know, the out-of-the-box dashboard capabilities, you know, and all the ability to kind of manage and maintain cases, from knowledge bases to SLAs to the business process flows, and then, you know, the surveys of the voice of the customer. Another area that comes with Dynamics 365 is actually called the interactive service dashboard. So this dashboard here is still using Dynamics CRM, or sorry, Dynamics 365 behind the scenes. But what it is that it just gives you a little bit different way to manage and utilize, you know, if you're, it's kind of a console. I don't want to call it a console app just yet, but it's more interactive than the standard dashboards are. And so what you can have is, notice it's a separate URL that you can access through your Dynamics 365 environment, but this is something that you can, you know, be inside of here. And here's all my active cases that I can be working on. Here are my different cases and their priorities. I can see, you know, by the different products what we're doing, you know, case by mix, where are they coming in as, you know, all that information I can see. You know, maybe I'm managing kind of my queues. So here are my active cases. Here are my phone calls. Here's my tasks I need to be working with. Here's my activities I'm working with. I can see what the activities are, and I can open up any of the activities through here. So this is just a little bit different way to be managing your customer service area inside of Dynamics 365. It comes with Dynamics 365, and like I mentioned, it's called the interactive dashboard. But again, how it's interactive is that if I look at this, I'm going to look at all my information for high cases. So I'm going to select high, and notice how it pre-filters everything now for, these are everything that's related to my high cases. So now if I actually open up one of these cases, there's actually a new form. So this form can have everything, again, the same information that I can enter in that I had before. Notice that here's my SLA and I have succeeded to respond appropriately for this SLA. Here's my timeline, aka social pane, that I can look at. Here's some related records. Here is my knowledge base that I can be looking at. So, it is all the same information that I have within my, standard Dynamics 365 environment, but just gives us a little bit different way to view and, look at and maybe interact with how I want to manage my customer service area within Dynamics 365. So again, just another option for your agents or your reps to take a look at, how they want to manage their, their customer service. The other piece that is critical in here is that this is where you actually manage your knowledge base articles. So through here is actually where the knowledge articles reside. So here is the new area where I can manage my knowledge base articles. So this is the one I believe that we've been working on most of the time. So again, here's where you can have the editor. I can add my different information onto here. I can go into here and put some more information. Remember I told you that you can mark your knowledge base articles to be external. Well, then you can say that, hey, I want this to show only internally if I have this externally facing. I can do my different items where I have different major and minor revisions. I have my review, meaning that I need to approve it before it gets published out there. So there's kind of an approval process that goes through here. I can also go through here and set different things. So what is the subject that's associated with it? Who are the authors? What are the keywords that are associated with it? I can go down through here and set what are the different products that should be associated with it? What are the, I can relate different products on here. I can associate different categories. All different ways to be able to, manage and maintain and segment out your knowledge base articles inside of Dynamics 365. So again, this is the new knowledge base area, and it's actually managed through the interactive service hub. So through here is where I manage my knowledge base articles, not actually through my Dynamics 365 environment. All right, so let's go back into, I'm going to jump back into 365 here, and I'm going to go back to my case. So I'm just working on my case, and so here's the case that I was looking at. And I'm working through my case, and now what we can do here is that I can have my customer self-service portal up and running. And so with that being said is that here's an out-of-the-box customer self-service portal. So as you know, with Dynamics 365, a portal comes with the Plan 1 licenses now. So if you have a Plan 1 license, you automatically get a portal. And there's different types of portals that you can have, different, I'm going to say templates of portals that you can use or you can start with. This is the customer self-service portal. I know that we're putting out another webinar that's going to be on our website that's more around the portals and what the Dynamics 365 environment or the Dynamics 365 portals do and how you edit them and how you manage them. So please look out on our website for another webinar that shows that. Today, at a very high level, I just want to show you what's inside the customer self-service. So notice again, of course, it's going to have the knowledge base that's set up through here. I can access it. Here's my most popular knowledge base articles. Here is, of course, I can get to the knowledge base through here. I can have forums on here. So I can be managing, I can have different ways that maybe my customers talk to each other or, they can interact with each other through here. I can have the support area. Again, this is where I can have my self-service where I can log in and create a case, or maybe I can manage my own cases. Some people like to say that, hey, I want to see what my order status is, so kind of log in and see what my order status is, and then maybe open up a case based on that, or see, again, if you have access and you have that data inside Dynamics 365, you can surface it and set it up in here through security and security roles and creating contacts and managing the different contacts on how you manage who has access to the customer self-service portal and who does not. So like I mentioned, all the stuff around the portal and how you manage it and kind of security and things, we're having another webinar that's going to go into that. So again, just kind of showing you the very high level of what's part of this customer self-service portal in this one. But one of the things, again, if if I scroll through here, so there's forum, you know, my ability to do different items through here. And so this is completely configurable also. If I go back to my Dynamics 365, notice that the portals actually sit inside of Dynamics 365. So here's how I can configure and manage the portals. Here's how I can manage the community that's inside the portals if I'm using that feature. But if I go back here, one thing that is a new feature now is right here, is live chat. So now, again, you could have added chat into any of your websites. There's multiple different vendors that have there, but now Microsoft has partnered with, like I mentioned before, it's called CafeX, and they have a product called Live Assist that now sits directly inside of Dynamics 365. So I just happen to have it put onto my portal here. You do not have to utilize the portal in order to use Live Assist. It can be on any public website. But what this does now is that if I go into here and says, okay, you know what, this is loading, it's connecting, and now it's saying, okay, we're waiting for a rep, to respond to you. So now if I go back into Dynamics over here, notice how over here, there is this CafeX area, and I'm sorry, I have a webinar piece here that's kind of in my way. But if I'm going to expand this out right here, this is actually showing me what I'm doing within my Live Assist. Now notice right here, I can go and grab this chat. So I'm going to grab this chat that's part of here. And now I'm just going to go into here and, type in hello. And I'm going to go back into my item and notice now I can have my live chat. I having an issue with my printer. All right. And again, kind of talking back and forth to myself. I know my cube mates tell me I do this a lot, so now I can do it through chat. But now again, I can have a conversation with myself. But more importantly, through here now, as you notice, instantly, as long as I'm logged in and I set myself as yes, I am available to have chats, I can now get pinged whenever a chat comes in on the website. And now, it can be routed to me, and now I am responding to this. Now, there's different items and there's different capabilities that I can have in here. Notice on the bottom, it's kind of hard to see probably through the webinar, is that I have different icons down here. So I can have canned messages that I have created. So again, the good old, hello, my name is Tom, how can I help you today? You can have different canned messages or different responses, or maybe you're having an issue with a certain product and they ask about a certain product, you can have a canned response set up for that. But again, there's multiple different ways to have canned response. And if you noticed, when I was in the service area over here, we have some Live Assist items that we can utilize to access Live Assist and then go into there and kind of manage, how things look, the canned responses and different configurations that you can do with the Live Assist agent. Another thing is that, let's say they're asking me questions. I'm like, oh, I just need access to my knowledge base quickly. So I'm just going to click on knowledge base here and notice how it takes my screen and it automatically goes to knowledge base. So I'm going to go into here and type in printer. And now this is my, again, this is my same knowledge base that's accessed through my cases, the same knowledge base that I can put onto my website. But now again, very quickly I can access to it and maybe I can answer some questions through here, by being through the chat window. Another area through here is that I can open a chat activity in 365. That means that I can actually log all the information that comes onto here. So if I select that, it actually goes into here and there's a new activity type, notice called chat activity. So this is all the information around what I did with the chat. And once my chat is done, it will put the chat transcript into here. I can link this to, a specific customer. I can set it to different regardings area. But again, this will just automatically log everything that I had on my chat. So now I can, see how I'm chatting and what we're talked about and what was, kind of what the final conclusion was. Otherwise, through here, I can create a case. Or let's say I'm working and they're asking about printer and I'm not the expert on printers. So now I can transfer this chat to somebody else, someone else on my team that's also logged in on the queue. And maybe they're a little bit have better knowledge about this product, or they're the knowledge expert of this product. So I can transfer it to somebody else that's in the queue, if they're active on here, so that, again, we can give that best customer service around here. So this is the chatting capabilities. I can also share screens on here. So if I want to start a co-browse, so again, let's say, they have something that they want to share with you. I want to see what they're doing, or maybe I want to see their actual way that they're utilizing it. I can do that start that co-browse through here. So now again, it just gives me the ability to have a more personal touch with my customers or my prospects. And again, it all sits inside of Dynamics 365. So it is a Cafe X is a separate license that that you would need to apply to get this product, but it is, it does sit directly inside the Dynamics 365, and actually to configure it and set it up, you actually do it through the Office 365 admin part, and so it truly sits inside of Dynamics 365. So this is a nice new cool feature and product and integration that we're really excited about. And like you're seeing today, we're just demoing it right away. And notice I was waiting for a little bit, and it actually sent an automated message. Here's one of those canned messages that kind of has a trigger on it that if you're idle for so long, it will respond, and then just say, hey, we're looking at it, we'll be right with you. So again, there's different ways that you can plan and kind of schedule when you should use the canned responses and when they should automatically be set out. So it is a very dynamic tool. A dynamic chat capability adds another great channel into the Dynamics 365 customer service area for you to be able to interact with your customers. All right, I know that we only have a few minutes left, but the last piece that I do want to show you is that everything that we are doing today that we have seen from a case management perspective is available through the mobile environment. So I'm just going to open up here an iPad, and I'm just going to open up my iPad right here. And so now I have, my iPad is on here. All right. And for those of you that haven't seen the new iPad app, or I should say the new mobile app, so this is your welcome screen that is here. Again, we do have another video on what's new in Dynamics 365 that goes into this in more detail, so you can see what this welcome screen is. But if I go back into my application here, so notice here's that same dashboard that we looked at. Here's my customer service example dashboard. So the same dashboards that I have through the web, I can have through the mobile. But more importantly, notice I have cases as one of my areas right here, and I'll just circle it with my mouse. So cases is right here, and I can select on cases, and now I can be working on my active cases. Here's the case that we were just working on, the 3D printer. And now here's all the information. So, again, the summary, different things I can fill in here. I can have, the stage. This stage right here is associated with the stage I'm in. So in the identify stage, these are the two areas that I should be, working on, or the two fields I should be working on. If I switch to the research field, notice how this is now the research stage, and now there's new, new fields that I should be filling in. I can see any open activities I have. More importantly, I can now be adding notes into here. So I can have notes in here, and this is a nice feature. So let's say I'm just looking at, I'm in the field and I'm just looking at a piece of equipment and I want to take a picture of it, maybe a before and after picture. I can utilize the camera right here within, my mobile device, both a tablet and or a phone. And now I can just take a picture of what, maybe what I'm working on, or, again, I can put notes into here very easily. Within this notes area, it's very easy. Notice here the microphone, of course, standard with most of your mobile devices. So now I can use the voice to text to do my notes, so I don't have to type on the small keyboard. And, voila, now you have your notes already typed into here and they are dictated, so now you don't have to type them all in. I have access to my knowledge base. So again, here are those same knowledge base articles that I had before. So it is a very robust environment that you can be utilizing it from multiple different platforms and multiple different areas. So I hope today I at least gave you a good flavor for what's available inside of the customer service area inside Dynamics 365. What we want to say is that there is a customer service user guide out there that you can utilize. Otherwise, we have our YouTube page, and I know that I reference a lot of that. Please come back, weekly. We're always posting new stuff out to our blogs. We're also posting stuff to our YouTube channel. What I can tell you is that you're going to have an explosion on the YouTube channel in the next week or two. We're putting out a lot of new content, a lot of stuff that came from our event that we just hosted not too long ago. So there's lots of new content, and again, there's new stuff out there weekly, monthly. So just go out there and check out there often. Otherwise, I want to thank you for your participation today and your viewing of this. And again, if you have any questions around this, please don't hesitate to ask us. Post us a comment, a question, reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to work with you. At that time, I'd like to transfer it back to the moderator now.